This is Andy Staples for SI.com, and welcome to this week's edition of Dear Andy. We're going to get right to the questions. The King sent his question via email. That's why it's so long. If you got a long one, send it to andystaplesmailbag@gmail.com. Give me a heads up on Twitter to let me know it's in there. A lot of hate mail in there I have to sift through. Andy, now that everyone and their mother is suing the NCAA, can you and I get in on this deal? What are the chances a group of fans could claim ticket and merchandise prices were artificially fixed? And what about you? Certainly reporters could claim schools' collusion cheated them out of some additional complimentary Chick-fil-A's at that bowl game. It's time to get in while the getting's good. Well, Mr. Elvis, I realize that Jeffrey Kessler's lawsuit against the NCAA, which is probably the most direct assault that we've seen on the NCAA's business model, has probably inspired a few litigious folks. I'm not entirely sure the fans have a case, and I'm definitely sure the sports writers don't have a case. As for the fans, the ticket prices seem to be fairly dynamic. They seem to move with the market. So, I'm not sure there's a case. There may be merchandise because they were all licensed through the same company, but I don't know if they're going to get that. That seems fairly market-driven as well. But I like where your head's at, because the NCAA is going to keep getting sued and sued and sued and sued until something changes, because I'm not sure the NCAA wants to keep fighting over this in court. Our next question comes from Alan, and he wants to know about the effects of new Michigan offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier and his Michigan athletic director Dave Brandon, too hands-on. As far as what effect Doug Nussmeier is going to have in his first season in Ann Arbor, he faces a lot of challenges. Remember, he got to Alabama in 2012, inherited maybe the best offensive line in college football history. He had A.J. McCarron, who at that point was a third-year starter. He had a loaded backfield. He does not have that at Michigan. He's got an experienced quarterback in Devin Gardner, and then a pretty good backup in Shane Morris. But he's got a very inexperienced offensive line, not a lot of proven playmakers. Devin Funchess, the tight end, is about it as far as that goes. But Nussmeier will simplify the running game from Al Borges. It'll be a lot more inside zone. There'll be some power maybe, but it won't be that complicated, which will be good because you've got inexperienced offensive linemen trying to learn to play together for the first time. On the other side of the ball, Greg Madison has proven himself as Michigan's defensive coordinator pretty much everywhere he's been, be it the Baltimore Ravens or at Florida or at Michigan before. He should have a fairly good group. 2013 was probably his worst year, but if you look at the advanced stats, they weren't that bad because the offense was putting the defense in such bad spots. The defense wasn't necessarily that bad. So you get a little bit of offensive improvement. The defense is going to look better as well. That's going to help. As far as Dave Brandon being hands-on, I'm not sure it's a question of whether he's too hands-on. I think it's more a question of his patience. How much is he willing to put up with Michigan not winning championships? Remember, this is a program that wants to win championships and doesn't accept anything else. And our last question of the day comes from Eli, who asks, which football hoops coaching duo would make the best true detective pair? I want to see Bo Pelini and Tim Miles from Nebraska. Eli, this is a fantastic question. If you don't know, True Detective is an HBO show, had Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson on it this year. Next year will be completely different cast, different stories. So, we'll start with Eli's suggestion. Bo Pelini and Tim Miles from Nebraska would be an excellent combination. You've got Miles, high energy, tech savvy, very social media friendly. He's your classic good cop. Pelini, your classic bad cop. Unfortunately, this question is coming 2 years too late for the ultimate combo. I would have loved to have seen a Bo Ryan, Brett Bielema, Wisconsin-based True Detective series. Bo Ryan buttoned up, a couple years from retirement. Brett Bielema, life of the party, never stops. Actually, I think they already made that. It was the Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks version of Dragnet, which you may have seen in the 80s or probably didn't. Couple other ideas I had. Here's one. Bobby Petrino and Rick Pitino of Louisville. Now we know that these two, well, they're apt to get into some off the court, off the field type drama. The scripts will pretty much write themselves. And then, the newest duo, the one that just got put together this week, Gus Malzahn and Bruce Pearl at Auburn. Gus will be your cerebral guy, your Rust Cole, for lack of a better term. He'll be the guy who's grinding away, connecting the strings. He'll have the big board in his office that has everyone's life story written out across it. Pearl, will be the guy who talks to everybody. He's the one who can slip in, who can go undercover. I like this. I like this. Somebody call HBO and call Jay Jacobs at Auburn. I think he might have found a sideline job for his two coaches. For SI.com, I'm Andy Staples.